I went to Bemidji, Minnesota to make a video about the Minnesotanese accent. And while I was there, I discovered something quite unexpected and really quite amazing. Nestled in the woods near Bemidji is a place where you can visit France, Germany, Senegal, Norway, Korea, without ever leaving Minnesota. It's called Concordia Language Villages, and no, this video isn't sponsored, but I just wanted to share it with you. One of the things that's really fun is the architecture. When you walk into the French village, it really does feel French. And it's not just the buildings, there's great attention to detail, so there are street signs, even the bus stops. Even the food is a cultural experience, and people are encouraged to sample international cuisine at the appropriate time of day for the culture they're learning about. And if you're learning French, for example, it's not just about France. They realise that these languages don't just belong to the country where they originated. You get not just metropolitan France, but West Africa, Canada, parts of the Pacific. Even the staff are representative of that range of cultural diversity. The idea behind the villages is that language learning works best when it feels real. So back in the 60s, they started building immersive environments where kids and adults can really live the language. And I really do mean live it.
There was a professor of education at Concordia in the early 60s, or late 50s for that matter, who had just come back from being a principal at an army-dependent school in Germany. And he was living there with his family, and his kids were picking up the language by playing with German kids. And just very naturally through play and kind of in this natural setting, having to decide who gets to go on a swing next, and those kind of things, seesaw. And so Jerry Huckabo is the professor's name, and he came back to the college and decided to approach the president of the college, President Knudsen at the time, whether they could start a language village.
So what do we see in front of us?
What do we see? What is this thing?
What is this thing, this lump of metal?
If you know what it is, tell us now in the comments. Something else I loved is that if you're buying a snack or a souvenir, you do it in the appropriate currency. So you might have to fork out some Norwegian kroner, or if you're studying Korean, you'll want to get some won. Who writes this stuff? And you also get the language you need right when you need it. So there are signs outside the shop that tell you how to say, how much is that? And give me 3 of those, etc. And they're not worried about kind of grading the language. So, you can learn I'd like in German as ich möchte without anyone worrying that, oh no, they haven't studied the imperfect subjunctive yet. We can't let them say that. And you get to use the language in a variety of situations. So it's not just eating and buying stuff. You're also cooking, playing music, doing sports, canoeing in the lake, all through the language that you're learning with staff members who are fluent in that language. Language learning journey.
I've been learning German since I was a villager here at the Language Villages.
Oh wow!
And that was a good 25 years ago when I first started. And that was my first introduction to any language learning, was through Waldsee, where we're at right now.
How old were you?
I was about 11 years old. And at that time, I had an interest in I'm curious. I was just like, well, what is this? I had only maybe learned a few vocabulary from my elementary school in Spanish, but nothing significantly. And then came for a 2-week session here, was learning songs from the get-go. And I'm a very musical kind of person, so I'm like, oh, this is really fun. And then it was like, oh, this is a whole nother world when you're learning another language. Like, all these folks that I'm around are curious and wanting to share about their culture and connect to people around the world. And that just was a springboard into furthering I can learn French. I can, and I had the ability to later, when I turned 18, learn French. And then in the future, I added on Albanian. I served as a Peace Corps volunteer. And then through other studies in my graduate work, learned Urdu after spending several years in India.
Wow.
And so kept, each little next language was just another stepping stool in we're connecting to more people in the world.
Although the architecture is quaint and cute, they don't Disneyfy the cultures that people are studying. You also get to see that these languages are spoken in real places in real modern life. The German village, for example, has a carbon neutral building where you can study STEM subjects through the medium of German. So the first Passivhaus in North America?
Yeah, certified. There's a Passivhaus Institute in Darmstadt in Germany. So like I said, it only uses about 15% of the typical energy consumption of a house built based on US building code. Doesn't have a furnace in it. It's totally usable year-round. Here we do one specifically that's based on STEM. So science, technology, engineering, and math. Very apropos for German, of course, as well. But so the students take apart, all in the language, right? All in German. They take apart the sample solar panels, understand how they're constructed, put them back together. They make wind turbines out of, paper plates, essentially. But then have to decide what shape the blade should be, how many there should be, how they should be turned or angled. So then they can measure how much energy that, different designs generates. Yeah.
Magnificent.
Yeah, but all using, again, in German. So it brings in students that maybe not as interested in language, but also put more in the science piece or the technology piece. But then they also learn German on the side.
They run programs for kids and adults in an amazing range of languages. Not every language has its own village yet. The most recent one is the Korean village, which is stunning. As someone who's really passionate about languages and language learning, I really love that people get to have that taste of immersion in a language and hopefully develop that passion themselves. And it's great that people get the opportunity to be immersed in a language without having to travel great distances, which not everyone is able to do. It says "学," meaning to study. It's you sit around it and...
You can sit on it, you can walk on it, you can climb on it. But what do you use it if you're sitting in an office? What is it that you might be using? Paperclip is what you want to say. You want to say paperclip.
Paperclip, it is indeed.
Binder, yeah, binders. So
Binders
why would it be a paperclip at the Norwegian language village?
Yeah, because Microsoft Word was very, very popular in Norway.
That's right, that's
Yeah.
right. So it was invented by a Norwegian, actually.
The paperclip?
Yes.
Wow.
So, and also during World War II, the Norwegians wore it on the lapel as a sign of resistance against the Nazis.
Fantastic.
So there is a little connection to it all.
Wow.
And this is the largest paperclip in North America, by the way.
Thanks once again to Concordia Language Villages for letting me have a look behind the scenes. It was an absolute joy. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Now, if you're interested in the Minnesota nice accent, and you should be because it's fascinating, watch this video next.